Welcome everyone to the Side Drive Podcast. Welcome to another Cup Series race review. Today, the Brickyard. A lot of things to talk about because we had the playoffs, we had domination up front, but we had a little bit of strategy come into play, maybe or at least attempting to. So a little bit to talk about today.
A lot of carnage too, a lot of wrecks and
yeah.
It's really intense kind of race. it's just usually Indy kind of a long race, but this is kind of different. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just, I believe the intensity level is a little high today.
Yeah, I think at least in terms of the playoff standings, it was probably the best regular season finale that we've had ever since this new format. So. Everyone was kind of going into this race like, it's going to be calm. They're just going to cruise on, which, leaders kind of did, but everyone else definitely did not.
Yeah, pretty much the leader would get out and he just check out pretty much, and everybody behind would, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So, the intensity level for the playoffs, we had, 3 or 4 guys going for it. And the battle was really tight. It was it was within a point or two at one time. So it was a lot of fun. It was a lot to keep up with, and it was pretty crazy.
So first off, Harvick got the pole. He would pretty much dominate like a 5-second lead before the caution for Daniel Suarez in the wall. And he's one of those he was going for to get into the playoffs. He was tied with Ryan Newman, trying to stay in. But he just, I don't know if it just got tight, just flew up into the wall, but definitely did not help his case, and that allowed everybody to go down pit road, and then we had a pit road wreck.
Yeah, I ain't really sure why I threw the caution. I know when he bounced off the wall, he had some smoke inside the car. I don't know if they might have thought it might have fluid on the track or something. Reason threw the caution. I don't really know. Usually somebody brushes the wall and continue on. They don't throw the caution, but here they did.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. We saw Kyle Busch at Darlington last week. He bounced off the wall, rode the wall around there for a lap or two, and no caution. So it's really crazy. I guess they thought, it's Kyle Busch. He knows what he's doing. So
they flip a coin, heads. Caution, tails, no caution. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I really understand the what happened on pit road. I don't know if Bubba went past his pit stall or missed something, slowed down, and Chase he had to check up, and then he got hit from behind, and everybody just kind of road jam.
Yes, it had Austin Dillon involved, Chase Elliott involved, Jimmie Johnson a little bit involved, but not really. Then Bubba Wallace, he had a little bit of damage, and Stenhouse had some damage, which is unfortunate for him because he was one of those that had a chance to, throw a Hail Mary and get into the playoffs, but just ever since that, I don't think he really was competitive. And then
I know after the race, Bubba's, he didn't really explain exactly what happened. He just saw he was about to run over Jimmie Johnson's crew, and then just kind of didn't want to. He says maybe he could have, thinking back at it now, he could have done something a little different.
Yeah. And then Martin Truex Jr. was also involved. And then next restart, Harvick just basically lead again. Then Kurt Busch, he would have a tire rub because more damage on pit road, we found out. Ryan Blaney's pit crew decided to use a tire as a weapon, unintentionally, but tire carrier holding the tire and accidentally just ran into Kurt Busch.
Yeah, these fenders are so sensitive, and if the pit crew guy was coming around and the tire just hit the fender. It's just one of them things. I don't know if maybe it come and play in the playoffs or something, and just you get a competitor and kind of choreograph it a little bit and just kind of boom, it's an accident.
Yeah, maybe they can work on how to do that strategically. I mean, I think they'll start, getting a little suspicious when you do it every week.
Yeah.
But maybe they could.
Yeah.
So then we'd have a caution for Landon Castle. He would have a hard hit into the wall. Thankfully, he was okay. And
Yeah, you had a right front went down at the wrong place. I mean these turns they're a 9-degree turn. I mean, if you lose it in the turn, I mean you pretty much going straight in the wall, and yeah, that was just a bad hit. I mean, it even buckled the roof of the car. I mean, it's just like, man, I'm glad he's got safer barriers here.
yeah, and we were all holding our breath for Landon Castle. And right after that, we'd have a caution for Eric Jones and Brad Keselowski. They would get into it a little bit, and Eric Jones hard hit for him as well, but Brad Keselowski, man, he went for a ride, and
Yeah, if one place in the whole track you don't want to hit, and that's like where you hit. So I believe Eric, he was kind of pushing the issue a little bit. I don't know if they was fighting for the same space. I couldn't tell if Brad was pinching him down at the same point. I mean, it's really hard to really tell exactly. I mean, it's just I think they were going for the same space. Eric probably could have let out, a little bit. I mean, everybody's going hard every lap and trying to get every position, just because it's very hard to pass, and very unfortunate for both of them because Eric, you coming off a win last week, and here he backs into the fence. But something about that discount tire paint scheme, he either cut the tire or he ends up in the tires. But
yeah, so
I mean that was a really bad crash. I mean, it was all sideways, and he really had to roll out to get out of the car. And I'm glad to see that Brad's okay, and I'm glad to see all the safety around the track and safety vehicles after pretty quick. I mean, it's just pretty tough. I mean, Brad, I believe he had one of the best cars.
Yeah, I think early on he had the second best car, at least as for what we could tell, because we don't know how he stacked up against Larson, but compared to Blaney, he was pretty fast. So
yeah, I believe it was Bush passing him right there. It might have slowed his momentum down, which caused Eric to get a run on him, and it's just one of the things.
Yeah, if you get a run, you gotta go with it. And unfortunately, sometimes it's the wrong deal and the wrong time. But Logano would end up winning stage one because he ended up staying out with Ryan Newman, and he was holding off Kyle Larson and Kevin Harvick to win the stage. So move on to stage two.
Yeah, and I believe it was Ryan Newman or one of them was the only one that got stage points right there.
Yeah. And
Jimmie, I believe he could have improved his positions at that point if the caution didn't come out, but it did finish under caution, so he didn't really get to gain on spots back.
Then Logano would pit. I would add let Larson and Harvick start on the front row. Harvick would just go to the lead, but then Larson, he would stay right there.
Yeah, he'd hang pretty good with him. I believe with this aero package here is really hard to pass, and he may have been a little faster at some point in the race, but he just couldn't really. I mean, he could really get close to him in the turns, but in the straightaway he just couldn't get around.
Yeah, and then we'd have a caution during all the green flag pit stops. It'd be Kyle Busch. He would have some engine failures, and that's something you don't really see much. But especially with it being a top tier team like that, and no issue. He's just out of the race. Not contending for another win. But if this continues to happen, if this just isn't a one time thing and it happens throughout the playoffs, that could be deadly.
Yeah, it was right after the green flag pit stop. I ain't sure what went on, and but he managed. I first thought that he was going to stay in the green, but he got to the pit road and he just stopped because it caught on fire and all, and they just had to throw caution. So
Yeah, I mean, there's always are they going to throw the caution if they bounce off the wall? But that's one of those things. You're definitely going to have to throw out the caution because they're not going to go down pit road. Kyle Busch's car is just sitting there, so.
Yeah, he definitely had an engine failure, and he's on the track, but he jumped down to the access road pretty quick, but still gonna have fluid on the straightaway anyway. So.
Yeah, so then we had a penalty for Alex Bowman, and then would have a caution for debris. Harvick will win the stage under caution, which it took 4 laps to clean that little piece of sheet metal up.
Yeah, I mean, I think they should at least try to race 1 lap to the end of the stage. I mean, it just a piece of sheet metal, something flew up, and I mean, how hard is it to pick up? Oh, when you go another lap, I can't pick this thing.
I mean, with how long these laps are at Indianapolis, they definitely could have at least done 1 lap there, but
You could have rode a golf cart out there
a goat.
I was gonna say a go kart, but a golf cart. You could probably ride a goat out there to get it.
Yeah, there you have it, folks. You can ride a goat out around Indy before they can pick it up. But anyways,
Might take 4 laps. We'll get that goat out there to get it.
maybe that's what they did. Anyways, stage 3. Okay, stage 3.
Okay.
So we had Harvick and Larson up front again. They'd make a little bit of contact there. Didn't really affect Harvick's car that much, at least as we could tell, or we were told. Kyle Larson, a little bit, but not too much. But would have a caution for Jimmie Johnson. Yes, one of the guys going into this race, needing a really good run. He was 18 points out going into this, so he would have needed a really solid run, and unfortunately, that streak of making the playoffs has ended, but also ended a couple other guys' days. Kurt Busch got into it a little bit. Daniel Hemrick went for a wild ride.
I thought he cleared Daniel Hemrick, but Kurt Busch got side of him and just crushed his car.
Thought he made it, and then he didn't, and then he's flying into the wall. So that's unfortunate.
It happened right in front of Ryan Newman, and he managed somehow to get through there.
Then Parker Kligerman just had to, give Jimmy a little, say hey or something. Probably not the way you want to say hey.
Hey, bud, I feel you. Sorry.
Yeah, a little fist bump with your bumper.
Yeah, I believe a situation was. I mean, Jimmy had a really great car. I mean, he's been running the best he has all year. And with the new crew chief and all, I believe he's turning that corner. He's picking up some speed, and he just got to finish these races off. And he was making some great moves out there, and he was pretty competitive, and he was going in there. And his own teammate kind of pins him down a little bit. William Byron kind of pinched him down a little bit. I mean, it was going like 3 wide, Kurt Busch, but Jimmy just couldn't hang it in there and just pretty much lost it.
Yeah, and I know it is weird not having Jimmy in the playoffs and everything, but I actually think this could be a positive for that team. They got 10 races, no pressure. They're not worrying about points or stages. They just go out there and try to improve on their cars for these next 10 races. We got a short track in Martinsville. We got Mile and Haas. We got the Roval, which is a road course. We got just about everything. So you go out there and throw everything into the car and see what you can get, and don't play the points thing anymore. Just go out there and
have fun and enjoy the last 10 races. And Jimmy, he actually almost won the Roval last year if he didn't wheel hop into Mark Truex.
Yeah, as we saw, last year ended up getting Blaney the win, and I could see Jimmy go there and get some redemption from the Roval. So, I think it's real positive. Him and Cliff Daniels, they can get more adjusted to each other and go through 2020 very strong.
Yeah, and I don't think Cliff Daniels he's hanging his head down, and he's done a great job with that program, and he's really helped that car, and I applaud him, and I think he's going to do very well.
And then Larson would have to pit because of the damage, and he would be kind of okay throughout the rest of the race up until uh, later on. But Harvick and Blaney for the front row. Harvick took the inside, and then that would allow Blaney to pin him down and take the lead.
Yeah, I really thought Blaney had a good shot to win this race. I mean, he stayed in there in the top 5, and he was very competitive. And all the Penske's run right close to each other most of the day. Besides Brad.
Yeah.
Up to Brad lost his position, but yeah, I think Blaney was a little better than Logano. And once Blaney got in clean air, I mean, he just checked out. I mean, that's really something I like to see with Blaney. I believe he got some wins coming. They're really improving week to week, and I was glad to see that.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what how the fans on our channel would react, because they voted Ryan Blaney as the most popular driver on our channel last year, and we want to see how people would react on the video. And last year when he won the Roval, we went to the Roval, so the video was really late, so we really don't know how everyone's going to react when Blaney gets that.
Yeah, really, because Kevin Harvick, he dominated pretty much most of the race, but once Blaney got in that clean air, I mean, he was like 2 seconds ahead of Harvick, and I'm like, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I think Blaney was the only person who could really challenge Harvick besides Kyle Larson, but Kyle Larson ended up pretty much spinning it, went to the wall. His day is done. He was not having a happy meal after this race.
No, and he wouldn't. It's not a drive-through, and so you can't get to them walls.
No. Pull up to the next window, please.
I'm sorry. Just got to.
And then it'd be Harvick versus Blaney again. The reason why Harvick got the lead was because he went down pit road prior to the caution. Same as Suarez, but Suarez got trapped a lap down. Harvick did not. And then Harvick...
Yeah, Harvick just pitted at the right time. I mean, sometimes it's good to be lucky, and sometimes, it's... I mean, the pit cycle went right for him one time.
Yeah, I mean, that's something... I think that's the first I've ever seen, the pit cycle go Harvick's way.
Yeah.
Normally, he's fighting the pit cycle, so... maybe, we've seen an upside-down race. Maybe we saw upside-down luck,
Maybe. I mean, it's just a weird day.
Yeah, weird. Very weird. But then it would be Harvick versus Blaney. Blaney would almost lose it. Nice save, though, I gotta say. I mean, I saw him as, completely sideways. I know these cars are a lot easier to save than years past, but...
Yeah.
But still, pretty awesome save.
I believe Joey would have... I ain't sure if he spun his tires or what happened at that point. Because Joey should have went up there and pushed him a little bit. I believe he could have got him to the lead, but he didn't. I mean, and then Joey's trying to run him hard, in the 1 and 2, and it just got Blaney real loose. And then here comes Denny Hamlin. I mean, it's a good job by Denny Hamlin just not pushing the issue and wrecking him, but it was a great save.
Yeah, and we're talking about all this stuff, but we're not mentioning who's in 3rd and 4th right now, like Bubba Wallace.
Where did he come from?
I remember at one point in the race, I saw him up there in front of William Bowyer, and I was like, I thought it was a lap car, because, that's just how the team's been running all year, most of the year, I should say. And all of a sudden, you told me that he's like 4th.
I said,
what?
Bubba Wallace is 4th. What? I mean, it's an awesome run by him. It's good to see him have some, a good run here at Indy, and just good confidence. I mean, it's something he really needs.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see him up there in the top 5. Not his best career finish, finished 3rd, because he finished second at Daytona in 2018, I believe. So, but still, awesome run by him. Maybe if he would have got some luck there and Logano and Harvick raced each other too hard, maybe could have, got that win.
Yeah, I was really actually kind of pulling for him because I don't see him shake up the whole playoff.
Yeah.
That would be awesome to see Bubba Wallace in the playoffs, and then Ryan Newman just get kicked out. And I mean, nothing against Ryan Newman, but it just his last one in the playoffs.
Yeah,
it just be kind of crazy.
I mean, we talked about 4 drivers all day. I mean, yes, the lead is great, but we talked about those 4 guys all day. Just about it was just about like a Homestead race, but it would have been awesome and funny if Bubba Wallace would have won, because it's like
just how crazy would the crowd have been.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when Bubba Wallace gets that win, I really hope it's with the 43. Of course, I think he's going to get more opportunities, but if he could win with the 43, he's going to be there all day, all night. He's probably going to stay with the fans for weeks out there signing stuff, and Bubba will be really excited when he gets that win.
Yeah, maybe I know earlier this week we saw him tweeting about some spider or something he saw. Maybe he got bit and got the radio at the spider, and he's got the spider senses going. So
he's out there, with the way Spider-Man does his webs. Shoot a web at turn 3 and slingshot your way up there.
Yeah,
maybe that's what he was doing. It's a secret.
Yeah, I like to see him do well. I really like him in the sport, and I like to see him run good in the 43 car. I mean, you don't really see it up there pretty often, but I believe he can maybe turn that program around.
Yeah, Bubba's new nickname on this channel is Spider-Man. The car's kind of got that, blue and reddish color to it, so it kind of matches.
Yeah, Spider-Man's my favorite character, so it fits.
Spider Bubba. All right, so enough of the Spider-Man talk, I guess. We had a caution for Daniel Suarez. He would pretty much dump Matt Tifft. I don't know if that was intentional or not. I think it was just because a lot of pressure for Daniel Suarez, trying to get into the playoffs, trying to prove that he is, worth that spot.
Yeah, I ain't sure if it was, the air off his car, or if he just kind of bumped him a little bit. But Matt Tifft was running good, and he was in 12th. I mean, it was a good run by him. And up to that point, you never want to get dumped like that.
Yeah, especially, I know it's like the playoff driver, but, Matt Tifft is having a, best career run, struggled in that car all year, and probably happy where he's running. Is close to end of the race, so he's probably settled for where he was going to finish. So then all of a sudden it all goes down the drain. So it's unfortunate, but it's just hard racing. And then after all that, it'd be Harvick versus Logano. Harvick would just take off like a rocket ship and win the 3rd race of the season.
Yep.
And that would be his second Brickyard 400. So get to kiss the bricks yet again. And this time he got to share it with his family.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Get his whole family there. I believe the last time he won here, he was with RCR, right?
Yeah, I believe so. With the 29. Car looks similar to what he has today. So I think that's pretty cool. Like to see an exact throwback to that car. One of my favorites of all time, really, paint scheme wise. And it was just an awesome day by Harvick, awesome day by Ryan Blaney. He would end up finishing 7th, so I'm not sure what happened on that final lap, but he just lost so many positions.
Yeah, but he got real tight. He couldn't get turned real good. But it's always great to see these drivers win here at Indy, and they go kiss the bricks, and especially when they got young kids like Piper, and she don't really know what's going on, and she was just she's just so precious out there. Like she's been over. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was Because like last time Harvick won, Keelan wasn't even born yet, back in 2003. So quite a while before Keelan was even thought of. So I think this win is a lot more special to Kevin. But with that,
yeah, you can really see the excitement on his face and Ronnie Childers and really all of them. I mean, they're just really, really happy, win there. And with Tony Stewart, they got to climb the fence.
yeah, we got to see Smoke climb the fence yet again. Won there 2005, I think. So that was his thing that he did, was climb the fence. And I know Brad Keselowski and his team did that last year, but it's cool to see Tony Stewart climbing the fences yet again.
Yeah. I had Tony climb the fence, and Keelan was up there too. So
yeah,
I mean, it's just really great.
Yeah, he got some past champion, and then current active driver that is a champion, and maybe Keelan, future champion.
Yeah, possibly.
So before we get into the whole playoffs and how they're going to start the next couple of weeks, we have to give a shout out to Josh for finding Dale Jr. in a thumbnail for the Xfinity race. So thank you, Josh, for playing along. His Twitter handle is JoshKers00, so give him a follow. And thank you for finding Dale Jr.
Yeah, well, glad you could see him.
Yeah. So anyways, let's look at the way that they are starting off in the next 10 weeks. So, of course, the ones who did not make it, we have Jimmie Johnson and Daniel Suarez. They were the only ones really, mathematically close to pointing their way in. So now
Yeah, Daniel just missed it by 4 points. I mean he is right there to get them points, but he just come up a little short.
Then we have Ryan Newman in the 16th spot with just 2,000 points, 45 points out of the lead. And then Clint Bowyer in 15th.
Yeah, as we go back to Daniel Suarez, see, even in the points, Ryan Newman's hard to pass.
Yeah, very difficult to pass. Then of course, we have Eric Almirola in the 14th position, just 1 point above Bowyer and Newman. So Almirola's had a tough year, after getting that win last year and had a really strong run going into the playoffs, and this year he just has been really struggling with the new package and all of that. So maybe he can get turned around.
Yeah.
Then William Byron in 13th. He did not get the sweep for the crown jewel polls, but he is in the playoffs.
Yep.
Which he is tied with Eric Almirola. And in 12th, we have the 12, Ryan Blaney with 2,004 points. Blaney, had a strong run to get his first win today. Just didn't happen, unfortunately. Then Kyle Larson in 11th with 2,005 points. Larson, I'm surprised he still hasn't have a win this season so far.
Yeah, he's got running really great. He just can't finish it off.
And Eric Jones, we're getting into the drivers who have won the season, who is tied with Larson with 2,005 points. Won Darlington. Then in the 9th, we have Alex Bowman with 2,005 points. Got that win at Chicagoland. Kurt Busch with 2,011 points in 8th. Got that win at Kentucky. And he got Chase Elliott, 2,018 points in 7th with, I believe, 2 wins. One at Talladega and the other at Watkins Glen. Then we have Brad Keselowski in 6th. We got to see him win at Atlanta and also Kansas and Martinsville. So I got to have those wins early on in the season. We'll see if he can bring back some of that magic as he had at the beginning.
Possibly.
Then Joe Logano, who won at Michigan and I believe won another race at Las Vegas. So 2 wins for Joe Logano. We'll see if he could get a third going into the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he was going for the regular season playoffs, but he's had some bad luck the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, then we have Kevin Harvick in fourth with 2,028 points, tied with Joe Logano. Got that win today at the Brickyard, then won at New Hampshire, and then won at Michigan, or the second Michigan that we went to. Beginning of the season, we was like, where is he? Now here he is with 3 wins and going for another run for another championship.
Yep.
And we have Martin Truex Jr., who has wins at Richmond, Sonoma, Dover, and I believe one more, which is Charlotte. So, he had a strong run at the beginning of the season, but we just haven't heard anything from him.
Yeah, he just hadn't had that luck or speed or handle on his cars. I mean, he just has a bad look.
Yeah, so 2,029 points, and is currently in third. And Denny Hamlin, the Daytona 500 champion, then went on to win Texas, then went on to win Pocono and Bristol. So he's had, wins all across the season. So maybe we'll see Denny Hamlin finally make a run for his first championship.
Yeah, and he crashed in practice here at Indy and managed to come back, finish sixth maybe, I believe it was.
Yeah, somewhere around there, 6th or 8th or so.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the top 10. It looked like he had some damage. I'm not sure if anyone ever mentioned that, but it looked like he had some sort of damage on the front of his car. He is 15 points out of the lead, which right now you don't have to be. You don't have to be leading the points. You just have to be in the top 4. And Kyle Busch, or at least right now, you have to be in the top 12. So just want to stay in the top 4 to be in the championship 4. And then Kyle Busch, regular season champion. We got to see him win 4 races so far this season. Fontana, Pocono, Bristol early on in the season. We got to see him win quite a few.
Yep.
And then, 2,045 points. He's got those extra 15 points for winning the regular season championship. So we'll see. Can Kyle Busch bring back that magic he had earlier on in the season?
Yeah, I mean, we got going to Vegas, and it's a mile and a half, so maybe.
Yeah, we could see it.
Me and Rick can't count Kyle Busch in any track, really. I mean, just the way he runs, and it's just he runs great or he blows up.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. It ended up getting 4 wins in the season. That allowed him to propel his way up to the first position. So we'll see. We'll see what these drivers can do throughout the next 10 weeks. And then we'll be crowning a champion. And then the season's over. It's kind of crazy to think about that. I know 10 weeks is still quite a long time, but it just feels like the season's going by so fast.
Yeah, Kyle, he seemed to be running really great beginning of the year. It seemed like it was Kyle Busch and Penske, and he's kind of back and forth at the beginning of the year, and then he's kind of got a little slump here.
Yeah, so hope you enjoyed that race review. Quite a bit to talk about, or that we talked about. So I know it may be a longer video than we would like to have it, but we just want to thank you for joining along, and stay tuned throughout the week. We have quite a few videos. We have a sponsor or NASCAR product review coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for that.